KPOO San Francisco, 89.5 FM. You're inside the Ibeji Lounge with Melanie and Malora Green. And as promised, we have the It Cast happening tonight where we have really courageous conversations around sex. And the one and only Nika Sherrill brings that conversation to the Ibeji Lounge. And they have two amazing guests. I'll let Nika take it from here. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Glad to be back as usual. Love this community. So I want to say thank you for joining us. My name is Nika Sherrill, and this is Black Health Story Month. We're going to go over the history of Black sexual health in America. Our guests tonight include Mayia Ogbebor, the manager of community health programs at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. And we also have Quandra Chaffers. She's the owner of Sexual Abuse and Sex Solutions Therapy. So please take a second to introduce yourselves to our community and say a few words about who you are.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. So I'm Quandra, and I am a clinical social worker. I have my practice on the cusp of the Castro on Market Street in Church. I've been doing private practice now for 3 years, but I've been in the game about 9 or 10, depending on how you want to count, post-grad school. I was told that we want to identify sexually, so she, her, hers. I consider myself kinky by identity, polyamorous by trade right now, and what else did we want to know?
So how you identify age, race, gender, sexuality, location of origin, where you currently live, anything of that you want to share?
For sure. So I was born and raised here in the Bay. I'm 33. I identify as African American and Black, and cisgender. I have a lot of privilege, I think, within gender, and I identify with the diaspora in general. So we're all one and connected that way.
Thank you. I'm Mayia Ogbebor. I am the community health, a manager of community health programs at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. As far as how I identify myself, that's an interesting question because I just identify myself as Mayia. Pronouns, she, hers, but doesn't really matter. I just am who I am. As far as my race is concerned, I view myself very interestingly because I come from two very different Black backgrounds. So I have my African American background, which is very important to me. Got the blood of slaves running through my veins. And then I also am Nigerian. So I also have that part of me as well. So I identify on two levels of Blackness. Anything else?
I just want to pause to just acknowledge that you both work in San Francisco, and that people get to see you and experience you. You know, we live in San Francisco, and every time we see a Black person, it's like a sighting. And so it just feels really good. When you said the cash ride, I knew exactly where you were. And then when you said that, I was like, wow, do you both know each other prior to this? You work so close. Work so close to proximity. But I don't know. I feel proud to know that we have strong queens, or however you like to be acknowledged right here in San Francisco. It's really important.
Yeah, we're holding on. I know everybody wants to run over to Oakland because that's where the cool kids hang out. But we do have a community here. A lot of my friends moved on and moved away, but I know that I also have a strong following of other therapists of color and many Black clinicians that I would shout out if need be, because my practice is full, but I know where to send you if you also want Black people to get healing. To do your healing in San Francisco proper.
You have no idea what you're saying to us.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, we will be reaching out to you.
100%. I love that, and we were definitely gonna discuss some resources today. Before we dive into that, I just want to talk about the current state of sexual health in the Black community right now. Like, as we understand it, there are some things that are missing. There are some things that are prevalent, and I know that we all have very strong opinions about like what's going on right now for our people. So let's dive in. Let's like get this discussion going. And would you like to share the trigger warning for the community who might be listening, people out there going through stuff?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Nika. Absolutely. So I deal in trauma. Most of my practice is helping people overcome the stories of what's wrong with me and change that into that is a thing that happened to me. And so I know we're going to get into the shame and stigma pieces, but in general, before you've done your trauma work, we all have these natural coping skills in us to basically check out. In therapist lingo, we call this dissociation. And we all do this in small doses. But if you really want to be present and not feel like this talk is too much, then I like to give people a really simple tool to come back to earth. I call it the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. And you're basically working through your 5 senses. It doesn't matter which one you start with in case you forget which one I did. But wherever you are right now, take a moment to land, take a deep breath, let out slow, look around the room, spot 5 things you can see that are Black, name them in your head, take another deep breath, let out slow, take a moment to kind of hear what's going on, 4 things you can hear. If there's nothing on the street, outside of you, next to you, you can tap on a table. Notice if it sounds different than if you lightly brush the tip of your fingertips. Take another deep breath. Let it out slow. Take a moment to touch something not your cell phone, which brings us out of the moment. And does it feel different? Does it feel warm at the palm of your hand versus your fingertips? Name one other thing about the texture. That would be 3 things we touched. And then the second would be smell. It's usually easier to find something we can smell than something we can taste, which is why I like to put it at second. So that can be something on your person, like shampoo in your hair or laundry on your clothes. It can actually be something like incense, something that brings you calm, brings you peace, something that reminds you of home, like cooking, or hopefully something safe. And then we close with taste, which, fun fact, are when we are nervous, we go into fight and flight. And so your body doesn't want to spend a lot of energy doing digestive work or these extra things that aren't going to keep you safe from the tiger. It wants you to run, fight it off, or shut down in some way. So if you are unsure about whether or not you are checked out, you might want to bring your attention to, can I make saliva? That is, we do that in a relaxed state in the parasympathetic nervous system. So switching to something like imagining a lemon or taking a swig of water, something that you actually can taste is great, but you can always imagine and your body doesn't know the difference between real and imagined pain or pleasure.